Let's go.
Oh,
Roll.
let's roll. You guys ready? Okay.
Yeah.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Oley Valley School District Board of Directors regular meeting for June 15, 2020. Roll call, please.
Pollock,
Yep.
Beckman,
Here.
Piper. Here. Brackton,
Here.
Jackson, Keller,
Here.
Markley,
Here.
Perry. Here. Zachin. Here.
Mrs. Jackson will not be joining us this evening. She is traveling. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to announce at this time that we have no plans for executive session. However, should the need arise, we'll address it at that time. School program, Dr. Shank?
None this evening.
I don't see anybody in the audience for public speaking. If anybody online had something they wanted to say.
We don't allow that.
I'm sorry, my bad. I forgot. I'm in old school. Apologies. Okay, moving on. I have a motion to approve the school board meeting minutes of May 18, 2020. Mr. Ekman seconds that motion. Any questions or comments on those motions? On those meeting minutes? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Piper,
Yes.
Brackton.
Yes.
Beckman,
Yes.
Keller,
Yes.
Markley.
Yes.
Perry. Yes. Pollock,
Yes.
Zachin. Yes.
Motion approved. Commonwealth funds. A motion to approve the Commonwealth Fund report for May 2022 as presented. Mrs. Atkins seconds the motion. Any questions or comments on the Commonwealth Fund report? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Zachin.
Yes.
Beckman,
Yes.
Keller,
Yes.
Markley.
Yes.
Perry. Yes. Pollock,
Yes.
Zachin. Yes. Piper.
Yes.
Motion approved. Treasurer's report. I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report for the month ending May 31, 2022. Again, Mrs. Atkins seconds that motion. Questions or comments on the treasurer's report? Call vote, please.
Beckman,
Yes.
Keller,
Yes.
Markley.
Yes.
Perry. Yes. Pollock,
Yes.
Zachin. Yes. Piper.
Yes.
Zachin.
Yes.
Motion approved. Approval of bills. I have a motion to approve or ratify the payment of bills for the period of May 13, 2022 through June 9, 2022 in the amounts as listed. Mrs. Atkins seconds that motion. Questions or comments on the bills? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Keller,
Yes.
Markley.
Yes.
Perry. Yes. Pollock,
Yes.
Zachin. Yes. Piper.
Yes.
Zachin.
Yes.
Beckman.
Yes. Motion approved. Solicitor's report, Mr. Mancuso. No report this evening. Thank you, Mr. Mancuso. Administrative report, Dr. Shank?
Thank you, Mr. Pollock. At your place this evening is a copy of the letter that Mrs. Piper had requested via email regarding that goes out to our co-ops and the payment plan for the $100 fee. This is the last year that will be charged to any of the co-ops. Goes out to Muhlenberg and to Fleetwood for football. Just for information, it costs $53 a day for the van to go to Muhlenberg. And we had 3 lacrosse players who did take advantage of the van. And I do have the answers to Mrs. Piper's questions that she had sent via email that I would like to review this evening, if that's okay, Mr. Pollock.
Sure.
Current percentage of general fund for PESers, and what is that a dollar amount? Dollar amount net for PESers for the district's employees is $2,449,813. It represents approximately 6.76% of the $36,203,177 in the estimated 22-23 general fund budget, 6.76%. Why are we transferring money from the unassigned balance to the general fund? That is done to balance the budget. And will the PESers amount increase as a result of the transfer? No. Please provide the budgetary transfers as the previous agenda number 10 posted on the website. The motion to approve the budget transfers for the month of May 2022 as presented. Those budget transfers are posted on the website under all the tonight's board meeting attachments. Number 11, motion to authorize budgetary transfers for the 21-22 fiscal year as required for the year-end closing, which have not been previously approved or which may be requiring of the audit firm or bond company, PC. Those budgetary transfers will be done by Furban as a result of the audit. That is standard language that is required for the board to approve, allowing Furban to make those transfers in accordance with the auditing rules. They will be presented as they become available through the audit process, which starts the end of July and will be concluded throughout the fall. We will provide updates as they become available. Number 12, review the Homestead Farmstead information 22-23. That information is posted on the website under the committee information and was reviewed at the committee meeting of June 6th. It does indicate that with the increase in what we refer to as slot money, the impact on the 0.499 mils on the homeowner is actually less than we originally had anticipated. Next question on the list was Angela Bruix. The question is, isn't she the one that we had reservations in criminal records to be hired as a special ed back in the spring? And which means me, had said that she was only a temp position. That is correct. She was originally hired as an LTS to finish the school year. And now we are asking to approve her as a special ed for the high school. That is correct. She completed the second semester satisfactorily, did an outstanding job. We had 2 open positions here at the high school for special ed teachers. She applied, was interviewed as one of the 12 to 13 applicants that we had. It is a contracted position for high school special ed co-teaching assignment. We have been advertising the position since March. We have 1 position yet to fill. We've interviewed 12 to 13 individuals at this time. We've offered the position. We've had people not return our calls. We've had people back out. She did an outstanding job throughout the spring, according to parents, students, and her evaluations. We are recommending her. She does not have a criminal record. She has a satisfactory and a distinguished performance record throughout the spring, and she has connected well to students and parents, and her paperwork for IEPs has been outstanding as well. We are recommending her tonight. Number 5, curriculum approval, psychologist services for Elaine Ayers. What do we have now and how much? Elaine Ayers has been with us for several years. She is a school psychologist. She does specialize, as in motion states. She is a school psychologist that does testing for our Spanish-speaking students and our Spanish-speaking parents, and she translates those documents, as we must do school psychologist evaluations in their native language, cannot do them in English. Her rate is unchanged and it's listed as $85 an hour, as it states in the motion. Edu Health Agreement, psychological service is psychological psychologists that we have 2 employed by the district. Their rate is $78 an hour, and they work with our English-speaking students and do perform our school psychologist evaluations for those students. We currently have 3 full-time in the district, 2 of which we use on an as-needed basis. 1 is full-time with the district, contracted through the BCIU, and Elaine Ayers Torres is one that we use as needed when we have students who have a different language. We also have some that we contract through the IU if they are in the language besides English and Spanish, as our ESL population is growing in the district. Number 6, please provide copies of bid scope of work for paving project, including payout details and warranties. The contract for Pave Connect, which is the state contract for paving, is posted on the website. We did review that at the committee meeting of June 6th. We had 3 different bidders. The contract is exactly the same as the one that is posted. J&J Asphalt was the lowest bidder. High school came in at $60,000. Middle school elementary was $75,000. True Track and Fountain Services, high school came in at $62,000. Middle school elementary at $79,000. And Keystone Asphalt was at $71,000. Middle school and elementary came in at $90,000. As I stated, the fall estimate that we had on both doing the mill seal coating and striping for both lots in the fall estimate, when we originally talked about these projects, came in at over $1.1 million. So these projects actually saved us close to $800,000 and will be if they're taken care of, will last the district approximately 10 years, which will align with the township's plan for Main Street and whether or not we will eventually be able to use the busing on Main Street or not. And that would then cause the district to have to make adaptations to the parking and the bus routes, which was something that will have to be addressed with the township as we continue to move forward. Place Solutions, ABT, what do they do? The agenda doesn't specify their scope of work. In the contract that's posted online, Solutions ABT is the company that has installed the sound and audio system in both the high school auditorium as well as the elementary cafeteria and stage. They perform the maintenance, they do the training, and they do the servicing of our audio visual equipment in all of both the auditorium here at the high school as well as the middle school, and they do all the training and bringing those systems up to date every year to make sure that they are maintained after the money that the district has put into those systems. So they do keep them current and make sure that they are, as a preventative maintenance contract and a training contract for new personnel and using those equipment. Number 8, to ratify the agreement with Xylem Preventative Maintenance Service and Inspections of Middle School Systems. That contract states it is a preventative maintenance and inspection system for the middle school pump systems, as we do use its pumps on the sewer systems and the water systems in that building, and they are maintained on a biannual system. The agreement with Singer, that agreement is posted online and articulates in depth the equipment that is being purchased for the lines here at the high school for lines, what we call line 1 and 2. That includes, it was budgeted at $150,000. It is coming in at a little less than $100,000. It does include installation, all equipment, everything except, as we've discussed at a previous meeting, the electrical component, because the issues that we've discussed that we have in that cafeteria with the electrical systems, we do use either Pagoda or Reading Electric with that because they are familiar with the systems in that building. So we do keep that separate. That will be out of the general fund and not within that. So we did say $50,000 by continuing to negotiate on that equipment. Please provide the pricing for the law firm you picked. I did not pick the law firm. The board chose a law firm, and those prices were in the proposals that the board did review and did discuss.
That it?
That was the last question.
Thank you, Dr. Shank. Is there any more questions on that? Should we move into committee meetings, committee reports? So, budget.
Paul.
Yes.
Dave Paul, I have questions in regard to some of the contracts with parking lot and Singer. Do you want me to hold off till we do the motion or bring them up now?
Yeah, let's wait until we get to the motion.
Okay.
Thank you. So moving on, Dr. Markley, Budget and Finance.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have 13 motions this evening. To please the board, I would like to take 1 through 12 as listed. Again, we've gone over these things for the last 6 months since January, and they are there. They're all online. They can be read. So I would like to take 1 through 12 as listed.
Dr. Markley moves the motions 1 through 12 as listed. Dr. Becken seconds the motion. Any questions or comments on any of those particular motions? I think we've gone through these all a number of times, so.
Absolutely.
Good. Good. Roll call vote, please.
Markley,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Pollock,
Yes.
Zachary. Yes. Pfeiffer,
Yes.
Bracken.
Yes.
Beckman.
Yes.
Keller.
Yes.
Motions 1 through 12 are approved. Thank you for all the hard work put into that, people. Appreciate it.
Motion 13 is to approve the agreement with Quigley Bus Service Incorporated to provide student transportation service to the district from July 1, 23 to June 30th, 29.
Dr. Markley moves motion number 13. Mr. Ekman seconds that motion. Questions or comments on the Quigley bus contract?
Say, given what's happening in other districts close to here, this is outstanding work. And really, thank you. Put some excellent effort into it. The numbers and results from Quigley are outstanding. So thank you for your work.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
This should be a stellar contract that Griffith County should be looking at.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Perry,
Yes.
Pollock,
Yes.
Zachary. Yes. Pfeiffer,
Yes.
Bracken.
Yes.
Beckman.
Yes.
Keller.
Yes.
Markley.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Under information, our notice was posted on the district website and published in Reading Eagle regarding our budget. As reported, the school district PD certified tuition rates are listed. And IRS has upped the mileage rate to 62.5 cents, and our upcoming meeting date is to be determined. That's it for budget.
Thank you, Dr. Markley.
I just have one question.
Sure.
Does number 2, doesn't it have to be a motion?
No, that's on PDE. They give us those. It's always based on the AFR from last year, and then they give you the certified tuition rates, and that's what you have to bill off. But it takes them like forever. When you do the AFR, you have to submit it by November, and then they take all year to tell you what your rates are, and they're always a year behind. So when we have ag tuition students or we have STEM tuition students, these are the rates that you will bill
That we
for.
have to ask.
So
I
like,
just thought it had to be a motion.
we just have to report them out so that
Okay.
everybody knows what they
Got
are. So it's the same thing if you would ever decide to accept tuition students from other districts that are outside of your CTC programs, that's what you would.
But then it's a motion. right?
Then it's a motion.
Okay.
Yeah. Because they're CTC rates, then you can't. Or like, this is all you can charge is what you.
Thank you.
Sure. Moving on to personnel, Mr. Hickman.
Thank you, Mr. Pollock. We have 13 motions, but it pleases the board, I'd like to break these into really 3 groups. The first group would be motions 1 through 10 and the number 13. And then I'll break out separately 11 and 12. Again, I'd like to make a motion for motions 1 through 10 plus 13 as listed.
Yeah, Mr. Hickman moves the motions 1 through 10 and 13 as listed. Dr. Markley seconds those motions. Any questions or comments on those? We can see what's going on here. Anyone? Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Can we have motion 10 separately, please? 1 through 9 and 13, then 10, 11, 12 separately.
We can go 1 through 9 and then add 13.
Correct.
So,
Modify that to 1 through 9 and 13.
1 through 9 and then
If
13.
Dr. Markley's still good with that, so.
Okay.
Pollock,
Yes.
Zacken,
Yes.
Pfeiffer,
Yes.
Brackton,
Yes.
Beckman,
Yes.
Keller,
Yes.
Markley,
Yes.
Harry.
Yes.
Motions 1 through 9 and 13 are approved.
Thank you. We'll move into motion 10 to approve the employment of Angela Bruex as a special ed teacher assigned to the high school effective August 17th, 2022. Step 20, master's from George Washington University and instructional 2 for education K-12.
Mr. Hickman moves on motion number 10. Dr. Markley seconds the motion. Any further questions or comments on motion number 10? Roll call vote.
Zacken,
Yes.
Pfeiffer,
No.
Beckman,
Yes.
Beckman,
Yes.
Keller,
No.
Markley,
Yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Pollock.
Yes. Motion approved 6-2.
And motion 11 to approve the appointment of Kalen Pitts and Lord LLP as solicitor and labor counsel for the Oley Valley School District for the 2022-23 fiscal year.
Mr. Hickman moves on motion number 11.
I have another motion.
Hold on a second. Dr. Facken seconds the motion. Okay, any questions or comments on motion number 11?
I have a motion to approve Chadwick as a solicitor for the school district.
That's not listed here. I can't.
We have a motion on the
We have a
table
motion on
already.
the table to approve first. Okay, so we're going to vote on this one first.
Okay.
Any questions or comments on Kalen Litz? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Pfeiffer,
No.
Beckman,
No.
Beckman,
Yes.
Keller,
No.
Markley,
Yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Pollock,
Yes.
Zacken,
Yes.
Motion approved 5-3. So move number 12.
Okay, move number 12 to approve the resignation for the purpose of retirement of Dr. Tracy S. Shank, Superintendent of Schools, effective December 31st, 2023, in accordance with the terms set forth in her employment contract.
Mr. Eckman moves on motion number 12. Dr. Markley seconds the motion. Questions or comments on motion number 12? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Bracken,
Yes.
Heckman,
Yes.
Heller,
Yes.
Markley,
Yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Pollock,
Yes.
Zacken, yeah, Piper.
Yes.
Motion 12 is approved.
And with that, I do want to thank Dr. Shank for getting this on the agenda. Obviously, it's detailed in the contract, but it's a reminder to the board of our responsibilities now. Clearly, we know what this fiscal year is like, and we know that basically near the end, or as we move into 2023, we start the process for the next superintendent. And this will at least allow me to continue conversations with the Berks County Intermediate Unit to go through the process for hiring the next superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Heckman. Moving on to policy, Dr. Patkin.
We have one motion tonight, and that is to approve the following policies: 300 section personnel, 30-day public review has been completed.
Dr. Patkin moves on motion number 1. I second the motion. Questions or comments on that motion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Heckman,
Yes.
Heller,
No.
Markley,
Yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Pollock,
Yes.
Zacken,
Yes.
Piper,
No.
Bracken.
Yes.
Motion approved, 6-2.
Okay, next meeting date to be decided. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Patkin. Moving on to curriculum, back to Dr. Markley.
Thank you, Mr. Pollock. I have 19 motions for action. Discuss these all at committee. I will take all 19 as listed.
Can we pull motion 8 separately?
Sure.
So 1 through 7 and then 9 through 19. So Dr. Markley moves on motions 1 through 7 and 9 through 19 as listed. Mr. Heckman seconds that motion. Questions or comments on those 18 motions?
I have a question in regard to curriculum. If there's, especially when it comes to ELA, if there are suggestions for different books, how do we handle it going forward?
I don't think the school board recommends books. It's not the position of the school board to recommend books.
No, but like if there are some questions in regard to language curriculum, ELA, and the books that presented for approval. And it's for public review, so we should be listening to the parents' feedback too, right?
Yeah, I guess we listed the books on one of them, right? Which, is there specific books you're concerned about?
No, well, right now it's going for 30-day public review, but you say it has been completed. Okay. Then motion 11, that's 7th grade ELA.
Number 14.
Okay, where is that? Yes, could that also go separately?
No, we went through those.
We went through this on the 6th.
And we also have
No, to vote separately. Motion 8 and motion 14.
We have a motion on the table. I mean, you can always vote no. Is there, are you going to vote no on 14? I might as well ask you that now.
Yes, I'm going to vote no on 14 and no on 8.
So I have a question on 14, would be to her point. We got 30-day review on it. If we don't like any of the books, how do we?
Oh, sorry. Okay. I got confused with 18. Never mind. Then just motion 8, please, by itself.
answer your question, Mr. Keller. If you have a concern, then when it comes back up at the committee meeting on the 18th.
Right.
You just bring it up at committee, because they'll come back again for second.
Right, that's what I think she
Yeah,
was
it's the
asking
same as
tonight.
first.
and it-
Okay, yeah, I understood myself.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
wasn't quite
and then the
sure.
curriculum committee will discuss what the, like, if you want to take this, I don't know, like house arrest, and you think that book isn't appropriate, and you have it reviewed, then it goes to the curriculum committee, and then they could either say yay or nay, and then we go from there.
Thank you.
It works the same as policy.
Yes, thank you for clarification.
So
Yes, then just motion it by itself.
1 through 7 and 9 through 19. Any further question on those? Roll call vote, please.
We're 1 through 7, 9 through 19.
Correct.
Mr. Keller?
Yeah.
Lee?
Yes.
Harry?
Yes.
Pollock?
Yes.
Zackin?
Yeah.
Pfeiffer?
Yes,
Atkins?
Yes.
Heckman?
Yes. Motion approved. Motions 1 through 7 and 9 through 19 are approved.
Motion 8.
Read it or just as listed?
No,
Motion number
as
8,
is.
okay. Dr. Martin was motion number 8 as listed. Which I can second the motion. Okay, questions or comments on motion number 8? No questions, we'll move on to the vote. Roll call vote, please.
Markley?
Yes.
Harry?
Yes.
Pollock?
Yes.
Zackin?
Yeah.
Pfeiffer?
no,
Atkins?
Yes.
Heckman?
Yes.
Keller?
No.
Motion approved 6-2.
Under information, the next meeting date is July 18th, 2022. Thank you, Mr. Paul.
Thank you, Dr. Marco. Property and Transportation, Ms. Piper.
motion 1 to ratify awarding of contract for the purpose of copy paper. Okay, the only thing personally I have is the question for pavement and senior. Everything else, unless anybody else has any questions, please let me know.
We're gonna break out 2 and 3.
6, I think it's 6 for singer, and I'm trying,
I'm sorry, it's a singer, I'm sorry. So it's
yes, 2 and 6.
2 and 6. So motions 1.
So 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 as presented.
Ms. Piper moves the motions. Sorry, 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 as presented.
Correct.
The Marquis seconds the motion. Questions or comments on those motions? Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Harry?
Yes.
Pollock?
Yes.
Zackin?
Yeah.
Pfeiffer?
Yes,
Yes.
Heckman?
Yes.
Keller?
Yes.
Markley?
Yes.
Motions 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, and 8 are approved.
for the motion 2, I have questions first. So when I read the contract,
Okay. Just put the motion forward, okay, and then we'll get the questions. So
okay.
Ms. Piper moves the motion number 2.
Okay, motion 2 to ratify the agreement with Pave Connect for parking lot repairs, seal coating and line stripping as presented.
Mr. Piper moves motion number 2. Can second that motion. Okay, now questions.
Questions. Would like some clarification on insurance terms. It was a paragraph number 4 under that contract. It says something that we will have to provide our own. Shouldn't they have their own liability insurance
We have
and
theirs
property
we have ours.
damage or all that?
They have theirs and we have ours.
Okay, number 6, not liable for failure to perform.
Sure, this,
It's in their
Okay.
contract that they're not going to be held liable for failure to perform. Number 9 excludes defects in materials installed. comes, that would be my concern.
Like page 89.
Yeah, the difference, it's Pave Connect's agreement with J&J. If you're talking the state contract agreement with J&J, their state, Pave Connect is your state contract. So there's a difference between Pave Connect's contract and then J&J's contract. It's different. So yeah, your broker is not gonna be responsible for any defects that goes with J&J. So
J&J's.
J&J, your vendor, which is what I read at the beginning when I was answering all the questions, and we were going through it on Monday night, is that if your broker is one thing, just as Singer is your
Pave
broker,
Connect's the broker.
is the broker. Yeah, there's different, like KPN's a broker, CoStar's is a broker, Pave Connect is a broker for paving and roofing. And so it's
Gotcha.
all, and that's why it's set up the way it is. So they're not gonna be responsible for those things, for J&J.
So does that also apply, number 9 excludes defect in materials installed? So if there are defect in materials installed, who is going to be picking up the bill?
Vendor.
J&J. Vendor.
J&J Asphalt, they're out of Lancaster.
Okay, number 10 says excludes property damage, negligence, wrongful conduct, or breach of this agreement. What's the point of having a agreement if you can breach it without consequences?
Mutual indemnification provision, and that the negligent party would indemnify the non-negligent. So it's mutual.
Pave Connect would be non-negligent.
But they're not doing the job.
Because they're not doing the job. That's why.
It's the same thing with KPN. People that you're doing the business with is the people you go after, not the people who did the brokering for you. The same thing with our insurance brokers. You know, if you have a problem with our insurance company, you go after people who negotiated your agreements, you don't go after the people who were your brokers. Part of the state contract.
So then which agreement are we approving?
You approve the agreement that we have in front of you, which is a Pave Connect agreement, because then it's almost like a subprime. That's how state contracting works. Just as like your question with house, when we talk about will the house trucks be out front, you see the house equipment out front.
Right, because we approved it with how.
Right, because that's CoStarz. CoStarz is a group that is a state contract. You are actually contracting directly with the vendor. Pave Connect is a broker. KPN is a broker. It's different state contracting groups you use for different types and levels of products. Surfacing, and that's why you get different, it's all done differently based on what your needs are. And that's why this one is the way it is. So that way we're contracting with Pave Connect, but if we have an issue, we go after their kind of subprime.
And my other concern, it said to pay 100% before even work completed and delivered and warranted. So can that be negotiated?
We only pay 50% down and 50% at the end. We don't
That's
pay
not what it says in this contract.
That's not standard operating procedure.
It said to pay 100% before it's completed.
Not how school districts operate.
I just read the agreement, so I was just going by what I
I
saw.
understand what you're reading, but I tried to explain to you for the last 6 months that how we operate is not necessarily what is in black and white in the contract. Contracts are negotiated in public schools, 50% down and 50% on the back end. You always maintain a retainer in case there's an issue. It kind of heads until you're satisfactory done with the punch list and you're satisfied with their performance. Usually that's a 50%, 20, then 75%, and then 25% in the end of the agreement until the project is done and signed off.
Could you later on maybe email it somewhere so I could actually see it? Because this is not the document that I'm looking at.
Because it's in the document and not how we pay our bills.
But this is the document you're asking us to approve and sign off on.
Just telling you the way schools operate. What I've been trying to educate you on for the
No,
last.
I
couple months.
understand
Is
what
that
you're saying, but I
Mhm.
also read black and white.
read black and
this-
white, but what is in black and white is not how things operate in public education.
Well, you have to have something in writing to support that, don't you?
No. Because we pay the bill. We do a purchase order and Ming only pays half of it. And then she'll release the other 25% when I authorize it. And then when I sign off on the last PO, Ming will pay the final 25%.
So our purchase order does mention the 50%, so we're covering it through a purchase order to the vendor. Okay.
To reiterate,
That's your
there's significant savings in using Pay Connect from what we talked about.
Oh, yeah, we're
Significant.
saving over 800,000.
So.
We don't pay anything up front. I mean, that's dumb business.
Acceptance of the PO by the vendor's final contract.
Yeah, the PO is the final contract, and the people, they know they're gonna get the money, it's just a matter of when. Usually we're paying for materials up front, and then we pay the labor on the back end. Then we get substantial completion, partial completions, all of that stuff is, in our, I mean, that's the way we operate, because you never pay somebody face value in today's world. You don't know what we can trust in the end. That's just business.
Although if they're charging you for a drum of oil today, might be a good idea.
I think what we do, I mean, you're locking your prices in by approving contract, you're locking your prices. And that's why some of them, like we were talking earlier about the issues at the elementary today, you're gonna ratify it because I locked the price in, because they told me if you wait 3 to 4 months, even you're looking at 10% increase. Let alone we'll have building issues perceptually, but, that even if you wait a year on even brick and mortar and repointing, you're looking to add 10% from now to next summer. A lot of building. You're talking about money, that's huge.
And so motion 2, any more questions or comments?
No, good.
Okay, so for motion number 2, the Pay Connect contract, roll call vote.
Polly,
Yes.
Sackett,
Yeah.
Piper,
Yes.
Atkin,
Yes.
Heckman,
Yes.
Keller,
Yes.
Markley,
Yes.
Harry.
Yes.
Motion 2 is approved.
Motion 6, to ratify the agreement with Singer for high school kitchen equipment, cost not to exceed 99.9 thousand, 100,000. Have a second motion, whoever.
Yep, hold on a second. Mrs. Piper moves a motion number 6. Dr. Markey seconds the motion. Okay, questions and comments on the Singer contract?
First of all, make sure we have the right number. So the public hears is not 999,000.
Yes, 99,000 point
99,000.
99. Yes, thank you.
No problem.
I meant to say almost 100,000, but 99.95352. That price does not include tax, correct?
You don't pay tax for a school district.
Okay, thank you. Now just referring back to the contract. Installation. Did you say it's included installation? Except for the electrical, correct?
Correct.
That's gonna be on a time and material basis, the electrical.
Usually we get an estimate up front on what it's gonna cost, and then kind of play between Reading Electric and Pagoda. They're both union shops, because we're commercial, we have to use that. Reading Electric knows that kitchen, so they really, it's the concerns on the overall immune system, but they do a really nice job on getting around and the installation on the new equipment. There's some wiring we have to do to recess into the floor, so we don't have a safety issue with the boxes above the floor, which they currently are. But we, as part of this project, we want to try to recess so we don't have a tripping hazard, which we have right now. So we're trying to fix some of that stuff while they're here as well. We're not looking at $50,000. So this project's going to come in under budget.
Okay, another thing about the contract, it said that any damage must be reported at the time of delivery. So will you have somebody be there to check the equipment? Are they going to be willing to stick around and wait till all the equipment gets checked out? How does that work?
That's what I do. I run the cafeteria, and Barb and I will be here when it's delivered with our maintenance guys. And then Singer actually has their own people unloading and unpacking, and they will position it. And then we run the inspections before they start to do full install. And we have other equipment that has been brought and we have turned it around. Or if it had, a minor dent or something from shipping, then we have negotiated substantial decreases or credits, we call them, off the bill, because a lot of that equipment gets bumped into and have a dent in it, just, because it is a public kitchen. And we'll just take the credit off of it if it's not damaged or has, a major piece of it, and we'll get our money back on it. But both Barb and I will be here, and I trust our maintenance guys immensely. And then Singer will also have its installation crew here as it comes off the truck.
Thank you. And I think, hold on, there was another one. So basically you will be able to get all of this squared away at the time. The existing equipment, what are your plans for that?
We scrap it and try to get as much money for it as we can.
Anyway, we get a hold of the working.
What about those sneeze
the
guards
cook pot that
or?
work,
So
The kettle.
it's gone. The pails are all gone.
Oh, they're gone already?
Yeah, pails are gone. I looked the other day last week when I was in the caf. They're both gone because the combi ovens are both in.
So did you get any, so where is it now? For sale, scrapped? Did we get any money for it? How much?
I would have to check with Barb. They probably, usually what we do is trade it in when we get new equipment. They usually, if it is semi-working, then they trade it against the bill on the new ovens. If it's not working at all, then we sell it for scrap against, then Singer takes it and we sell it against whatever we can get for it.
So Singer's the one scrapping
Yeah,
or trading it in.
yeah, because they'll take it, because we have to install it, unhook it up. They have to certify if that was taken correctly, the electric was done, it was unhooked. All of that stuff has to be done professionally because it's commercial grade equipment. We can't do it.
But it's not reflected in 99.9. There any
No.
credits, correct?
Correct.
Would you be able to provide all of this information later on to the rest of the board?
No. Because it's not in this bill, it's in another, she's probably using it in the credit that's coming in through the cafeteria, because that credit would have been in the other equipment that she had gotten off the ovens. That would have been against the price of the ovens and probably against some of the other equipment that she got on the merchandisers and the other equipment that we had to replace in the kitchen.
So that was part of when you negotiated already. They already knew some of the stuff.
For the other equipment, not this equipment, for other equipment that we had gotten throughout the year that had failed. We lost both ovens, all 4 Vulcan ovens this year we lost. We lost the middle school oven. We lost 2 merchandisers, and one in the middle school, one in the elementary, all because of age. And the fact, if you remember a few years ago, we found that the water softeners were hooked up. Remember that? We put those in all 3 buildings. So the scale and all of the hard water had taken did significant damage. So we're in pretty good shape. And the cafeteria equipment now in the buildings, except for the elementary freezer, which we are working on now, which the buildings seem to be built around.
The softeners weren't hooked up.
No.
Okay, this is all fine, but I would like to see how much we actually were able to retrieve from the old equipment. So it's not just kind of getting, somewhere shuffled in the paperwork.
It doesn't work that way. It's all done in negotiations. That you all do negotiations and you try to say, okay, well, this is this, then if I'm trading this, then I want $1,000 off of this, and then it's all barter. And that's how you negotiate all of it. It's not a line item credits. They don't put it in, it's all barter. How you negotiate with all these vendors. It has to do with building relationships over years, and it has to do with customer service, and they treat us well, and we treat them well. And it's
So
about-
basically, there is no money trail.
There is a money trail. It's just not the way you would do it, that you don't understand. It's not how school districts work.
If an oven costs $5,000 and you got $1,000 on trade for something else, technically you have.
But it has to be documented somewhere, doesn't it?
Well, it's documented that the oven costs $4,000.
Correct. And if you look it up
That's-
online and it says it costs $5,000.
There's your money. That's how I'm understanding it.
Well, if I trade my car in, I get the trade-in value for the car and then taken off of what I'm paying for the new one. So there is actually, should be some kind of a trail. Just like you said, the oven costs 5,000, I'm trading one in, I'm getting 1,000 knocked off, so that's the 1,000 that I got knocked off for something that I traded in, or scrap or whatever.
But the final bill of the stove then was $4,000 instead of $5,000. There's your trade.
Well, yeah, I understand, but still, there is, also when you have to do the taxes, shouldn't you kind of, that's your depreciated products, aren't they?
We don't have tax.
Okay, that really has nothing to do with the.
All right,
So can we, is there, you got any more?
Yes,
any more
motion
questions on this
6.
Particular motion? Jim? Can you get a motion number 6 here, Maria? Ms. Piker, you still there?
we already had it a second ago, so I believe we were supposed to vote on it now.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Zaki?
Yes.
Piper?
Yes,
Yes.
Hackman?
Yes.
Yes.
Markley?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Pollock?
Yes. Motion 6 approved.
the next meeting date is not set yet.
Thank you, Mr. Piper. Student activities, since Mrs. Jackson is not here, Dr. Moore, do you mind?
Oh, no, I don't know.
Thank you, sir.
It'd be a pleasure, actually. I'd like to take motions 1, 2, and 3 as listed.
Dr. Markey moves the motions 1, 2, and 3 as listed. Dr. Packen seconded that motion. Questions or comments on those 3 motions?
I'd just like to thank all these individuals for stepping up and doing these jobs, because the time they put into it with our kids is incredible, and the outcome is always a positive note for the kids and the coaches and advisors. So I'd like to thank them.
Duly noted. Any other comments? Do we have any outstanding positions yet? Usually there's still some new people.
There is more in the spring, a lot of co-curriculars, and the one we're really looking for right now is middle school boys soccer. It's the last one on the fall sports.
Sorry, could you say a little bit louder? I couldn't hear you.
I just asked if there's any positions that were not filled yet, and the only concern right now for the fall is middle school boys soccer. So I was just curious. Is there more questions? Roll call vote, please.
Piper?
Yes,
Hackett?
Yes.
Hackman?
Yes.
Jackson? I'm sorry. Keller?
Yes.
Markley?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Pollock?
Yes.
Zaki?
Yes.
Motions 1, 2, and 3 are approved.
Our next meeting date is July 18th, 2022. That's it.
Dr. Markley. Moving on to legislative, Mrs. Zaki.
Mr. Pollock, I have no action items this evening. I do have some bills that we are watching. We are watching HB 2169, which is the private school voucher legislation. It was scheduled for May to go to the Senate Education Committee, June for consideration, and it was withdrawn both times. Amendments are being proposed to the legislation. It is now in committee. Bill 1244, which is a graduation requirement adjustment, which gives temporary graduation Education pathways for students impacted by COVID-19, and that would be the classes of 2024 and 2025. And Dr. Shankar, you could talk about the pathways maybe in July.
Once we just approve.
Yeah,
we can do that.
could you just talk about that? And Bill, House Bill 224 is about out-of-state teacher certs, which is going to be a change. Yeah. House Bill 2468 offers grants to help student mental health needs. House Bill 2428, which is an act amending Title 65. Mr. Pollock, maybe you want to talk about that because that was talked about yesterday in the,
I missed the first.
Okay, well, that-
Breaking.
it's about broadcasting and acceptance of remote public comment.
There's some discussion afterwards, but it's just people kind of trying to get their hands around, the school districts trying to get their hands around public comment. And by and large, the response was check your policy, check your solicitor, get all nailed down. I was driving my car, so I didn't get a chance to chime in and say that, yeah, it's all about the policy, so. Thank you. I'm moving on to BCIU. Mr. Jackson's not here today. Is anybody else? Excuse me, whenever I could speak to that. So I'll just read that. Under information was some stuff listed there. The next meeting is August 18th. Ag Advisory, Mr. Killer.
Nothing to, other than the FFA alumni barbecue football, Saturday,
This Saturday.
this Saturday
The fairground.
at the fair.
Free all? Yeah, free to all, good food. I imagine, yeah, don't eat Friday because it's really good food.
Other thing, if you didn't see it, is we kind of cleaned up at states. Food service team won the Storm Nationals. They also took first and second place individually at nationals in food science. Equine team did extremely well. And a student who took first and will be going to nationals in creed speaking, public speaking. The equine team is going to the Big E and October, getting what month Big E is in Massachusetts. They did extremely well for our especially our younger students. So they started out really strong. Their leadership group is meeting this week for their retreat, and we're interviewed today for the new ag teacher and have second rounds next Friday. There's some good candidates for cases.
Thank you, Mr. Killer. Negotiations, there really have no action items. Just like to let the board know that Dr. Mark and Mr. Keller and I have started discussions with the school OBEA about the next contract. So we're early in that process to get back to we know more. BCTC, Mr. Hickman.
Thank you, Mr. Pollock. The information items, JOC briefs and minutes, the note about the December briefs, just to ignore that. We can't find that document. I believe that was ever issued, but the other two are valid briefs and minutes from BCPC. Our next meeting actually is next Wednesday, June 22nd, West Campus. We do not meet in July, so the meeting after that, the summer meeting, will be starting up in August 24th. But there are three areas I really want to highlight from BCPC, if you don't mind. One is the senior recognition. We had our senior recognition at the Santander Center in Reading on May 31st. I was honored to be able to greet each of the graduating seniors and also got to give a speech about safety and how important safety is no matter what field they're going into, be it culinary, welding, computer science, whatever. They have to remember safety first to take care of themselves, their families, and also be there when their employer really needs them. So that was very well received. And again, I was honored to be able to represent the JOC at that event. Also, this week we had a career camp going on. We have 100 7th, 8th, and 9th graders in at the East Campus. This is probably the 5th or 6th year we've had this program. A lot of the money comes from the Dan Fogarty and the Workforce Development Board. So it doesn't cost BCT anything. But we do have the students in, they're going through things like the medical field. If you look at our Facebook, you'll see students involved in things like CPR training, dental activities, health science and the like. They're also, they have a different day in manufacturing and also in technology. So the students every day, they're doing an activity, learning more about what the activities are at the East Campus, and also being able to take something home, something they made or something like that. So that's a fantastic program. It did slow down a bit because of COVID, but we've had 60, 70 students in the past, but we have a full 100 from around the county. So that's a great program. In fact, I'm meeting Dr. Stauffer tomorrow morning, and from our meeting, we're going to the East Campus to witness the last day of the camp. So it's just a fantastic activity. The last thing I'll mention, we heard mention of FFA and other groups and the like. We also have students in Homestead and a lot of other organizations that are in competitions. We have students going to Nashville, San Diego, and I think it's Chicago, I believe. Don't quote me on that. There are 3 cities that our students are going to, and it's something else that I mentioned at our senior recognition. The fact that not only the seniors, but maybe underclassmen are competing, and it's a great opportunity. Some of those kids never get outside of Berks County, and they're provided a path through HOSA and some of the other groups to not just do state competition, but international competition. So it's a great thing. It cost us a lot of money this year because we have so many students going. It was a little bit ahead of the budget, but it's well worth it. So I'll be able to report back in September how our students did at all these competitions.
Mr. Hepburn. Berks EIT, TCC, Mrs. White.
Hey, Mr. Pollack, the monthly reports for May are presented tonight, and the next meeting is June 30.
Thank you, Mr. White. Communications, Ms. Perry.
If any, we had talked before about the parade coming up in September. If you are interested in being in on our vote at the July 18th meeting, if you could bring your T-shirt that we will be made into the one I showed you before. If you want to be on the vote or you just want a T-shirt, that's fine. Bring it on July 18th, and then we'll have your T-shirt.
What color?
White.
Okay, well, can you send an email out? Because I will forget that 5 minutes out that door tonight.
I will send an email.
Yeah, just a
Okay.
reminder that
Yep.
if there are plenty of white T-shirts, I'll just forget to bring them.
Yeah, okay,
Cool.
all right.
Thank you, Ms. Perry. Moving on, Secretary's report, Dr. Shane.
Thank you. I did send Mrs. Zakin pictures of the dimensions of the trailer,
Okay,
so
cool.
you'll know what you're decorating. And that trailer, because of its size, has to be pulled by the black truck, the big black truck.
Okay,
So if you want to be in the back of the dump truck, that's the black truck, Scott will be driving and we'll have that one too. So he's gonna polish it, and because it has to have air brakes because of the size of the truck. That's right. We like the trailer. It has to have air brakes, and that's the only one we have in the trailer.
okay,
You know which one I mean. See that driving around, it's the one he drives all the time. Just remind everybody what's in frame ships. But if you need anything else, just let me know, because we have a lot of like cleaning out closets and stuff this summer. Stuff that we don't use anymore, so we might have supplies and stuff that. we're not-
Okay,
Huh?
pool noodle?
I think we have some at the elementary from a STEM camp that we did pre-COVID that we don't use anymore too.
What? Pool. Oh, cool.
We found all kinds of Play-Doh today too that we don't use anymore.
We're not using.
And some other
Just a
stuff.
pool noodle.
This was in storage from. So gotta like give it to the church and. Cleaning out. Again, so. Anyway, you have the list of upcoming district activities, everything up through the end of September. For your calendars, off through homecoming, which is September 30th. I will be sending out the sign up for the Oley Valley Fair, which is also listed on here. The Fair Community Celebration is September 10th. All the back to school nights are listed. Your dates are here. If you have any questions on one of those, just a reminder, there's only one meeting in July. The board meeting is the 20th. The committee meetings are the 18th. We are looking for board interviews, Mr. Heckman, for the assistant principal position the first week in August. for the appointment at the August 10th meeting. Now with Manny's resignation, we're looking at our interview process starting in the middle of July and then bringing the final two candidates to you in the first week in August. So that we'll have everything set and ready for you. Hopefully at that point, we do have a lot of good applications, very diverse backgrounds, which will be interesting as we start to go through the screening process. For that, we're still looking at finishing our hiring process for the open positions that we have now. Mr. Pollack indicated negotiations teams working with OBA, hopefully we have that contract done. Finishing the comprehensive plan right now as well. A lot of buildings and grounds projects underway, and the summer's gonna work fast. Then we'll be submitting the budget end of June, getting tax bills out. And our tax collectors are just phenomenal on what they do in the main line, and then hopefully getting our front line, I should say, in July 1st. Working closely with them as we kind of go through the process for the summer. So summer's gonna go fast. And then the other thing for personnel, Mr. Heckman, is that as Ming and I work to prepare the 23 budget, the 24 budget, I should say, we will need direction on for budgeting purposes, how salary wise for the superintendent's position, the facilities position, and transportation, what ranges to include in the budget as you move forward, so that we can start to work on that, because we will present that usually in November or December, so that we can get the resolution. Just want to make sure that we're budgeting accordingly into the ranges that kind of very closely in the county averages. And what we've been thinking, and just want to make sure that our thought processes are the same as we continue to work through the process. If you need anything over the next month, thank you.
Did we vote on the changes to the new calendar?
Yes, it was under one motion.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. I just didn't remember.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Shank. Under other, I have one action item. The motion to approve the following resolution. Be it resolved that the employment contract between Dr. Tracy as Shank Superintendent and the Board of School Directors of Oley Valley School District be amended to include the salary increase of 3% effective July 1, 2022. Mark, you second that motion. Questions or comments on that motion?
I have a question. How did you determine the percent increase?
We discussed that last week in exec session, that when you,
Okay.
you weren't available
All right.
after last Wednesday's meeting.
Okie dokie.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Atkins,
Yes.
Hackman,
Yes.
Keller,
Yes.
Markley,
Yes.
Harry,
Yes,
Pollock,
Yes.
Sackett.
Let's see if we can make it snow in June. Yes.
Oh, you're breaking your record. Pfeiffer,
No,
Motion approved 7-1. And other information, I'd like to report that there was an executive session on June 6, 2022, following the school board committee meeting for Act 44, transportation contract and the superintendent's evaluation. Do we have any unfinished business?
Just want to
I
say
have.
thank you.
Oh, go ahead.
I just want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak at commencement.
Oh, you did great. You did great.
Yeah, it's fun. I was nervous, but it went
No, you did
great.
fantastic.
Well received.
It,
So,
it was well received. So anybody who missed it, yeah, you did a great job up there. Made him laugh.
thank you
You
for
always
that.
want to make, you always want to leave him laughing. So
Yeah, yeah.
thank you for being able to do that. It was a fantastic, beautiful weather.
Well,
A little warm up on the stage.
Yeah.
Mrs. Sturdy, the doctor fitted, he made out with the full books, and I don't know if anybody noticed the kids were handing out coins that came across the stage, which completely took about it. I have no idea why, she never figured out why, but they were giving pennies and nickels.
Years ago, they used to give candy, sometimes they give golf peas,
Okay.
all kinds of things.
Silverware.
Every year it was.
This was a
something.
better year than getting cash.
Yeah.
Helps the budget.
Yeah. I need to find out what she decided to do.
buy a gallon of
Well,
gas.
Maybe a gallon of gas.
See, we put it in the classic.
One
There you
bill. There was one bill in there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's the one that that young man should have given her more than $1.
Here's a dollar bill with apology. on it.
Yeah, quite it was.
I'll leave that between them.
He also brought a flower as an apology too. He is a good kid. He'll do well once he gets out. So,
Yes, it was great, man.
but yeah, we put it in the classic.
I don't want to repeat myself, but I must say the outside graduations are glory.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 years in a row now. They
They're
got that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very nice. Very nice. Weather really cooperated. Yeah, it's really better than that. So I'm sorry, Ms. Piper, you had something to say there?
Yes, I'm gonna go back a little bit to that lacrosse situation and just try to figure out where there was the disconnect with understanding what parents were responsible for paying and what options were they given, because my understanding from that particular parent that that was the money was supposed to go towards transportation. But then when she specifically said that she wanted to bring her child to and from practices, she said that she was still going to have to pay the money. Is like the story is broken up, and I'm trying to connect the dots, figure out what has become a disconnect and escalated to such an unpleasant communication altogether. So, and how we can move forward and just be clear in the communication and what is covered, what is not. Like,
It's a
What-
mute point for one, and that parent has a history of, there's been a lot of backstory with that individual that has not been pleasant throughout the season. The $100 that they pay, we use for transportation, because it costs us $53 a day for a van to transport 3 lacrosse students. Muhlenberg actually called for all their contracts today for all of their co-ops. Their business manager did not have them on file. Did call for them today, which we did provide to them, which I believe they will be billing us because of the Facebook posts and some of the issues that were brought up. I do believe we will be getting a bill before June 30th now, because they did not appreciate the comments that about their coaches and the comments and slander that was going on about their employees, because they did work extremely well with our students and our coaches. Any coach that holds kids accountable and tries to build a program does have to have leeway. There is no, and the other rumor that was going on was that the board has made no decision regarding moving across to Exeter, unless I went up to sleep in that meeting.
No.
And there is no decision from the board that we are implementing water polo or swimming for next school year. The only direction that I remember, and if I am incorrect, please correct me, because Mr. Rhodes has the same perception, that we are to bring back further information in July.
Absolutely.
But we are getting slammed because from people that we are doing water polo and swimming and not moving lacrosse, which is not our understanding. But this particular parent does have a backstory that I'm not going to get into in public. It doesn't matter what we do, there's going to be an issue in Facebook. And that we are working diligently with Muhlenberg, as we do with Fleetwood and Brandywine and every other co-op that we have or try to have our students have opportunity to play. And that $100 that we did collect, and this is the last year collecting fees for co-ops, because Mr. Rose and I do believe that we should not be charging fees for co-ops because we do have minimal kids participating. But we don't charge fees for our own students to play here in the Valley. Why should we be charging for them? It is a minimal amount of money, and we are found ways to make up that through other resources and fundraising in cooperation with the athletic boosters as well. So it is a moot point going forward. Transportation is our biggest expense, but we do anticipate getting a bill from Muhlenberg based on what has transpired publicly over the last month and a half from some parents from Muhlenberg in the lacrosse program and the statements that were made about their coaches. And as was stated, our players are excellent, they are committed, they do a great job, and they do play varsity. So we will have information coming to you at the July 18th meeting as requested as to the information that was requested from the board. For further discussion, then the board can decide if they want us to move a co-op, we will gladly do that. Once they were at, we will do that. It is a board decision regarding the co-op. It is not an administrative decision, and there is cost. As we decide, it's not necessarily, it's about students, but there is budgetary implications on the decisions that you make. And this was a tough budget year, and they will be tough moving forward as well. So you do have to keep that in mind. But that $100 we did use for transportation, even though it did not cover the cost of transportation.
yeah, yes, that's why the question is like, because, anticipating the gas prices rising and obviously the cost of transportation is going to be higher. Maybe like brainstorm about the different options for parents, opt out, or because it's gonna be expensive, so there's no way about it. So do we have a flat fee for each parent, whether or not you take transportation
There is no
or
fee.
give adoption,
There
or
is no
like,
fee.
I'm just throwing it on the
fee.
table, so going forward, we're kind of a little bit more clear with communication, what parents do expect.
She said there's, yeah, we're not gonna charge fees going
We're
forward.
not going to charge.
There are no fees going forward.
It's decided to stop doing that.
Okay,
We
even
decided
for the
that mid-year.
even for the transportation.
We've already
Correct.
communicated that mid-year, that this was the last year for fees. These parents already know that.
Okay,
And we were as respectful and as open to everyone that showed up that evening. And my point that evening to our athletic director was to come back with information, statistics, numbers, and bring everything he could to share with us as a whole. And we listened to everything, those individuals who came here, and we did the best we absolutely could do with that situation, and we will continue to do that for the children who want to play. That's what we're here for. That's why co-ops came into existence. And it's a shame that some directions were changed after some of the schools decided there was a different way to operate.
Correct. And PIAA did confirm they will not support that you're going to play for athletic advantage. They want small schools, they want people to play, to have the opportunity to play, not athletic.
So we will definitely, we will be here and we will ask questions and we will do our best to support students who want to be athletically inclined to play. That's our job.
thank you.
Any other unfinished business? Do we have any new business for the board? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment. Dr. Markley so moves. Do I have a second? A second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Everyone stick around. Thanks, folks. Have a great evening.